Welcome back to another episode of This is Tech Talks. I'm Jay Bell, and I'm here with my fellow hosts. Sonu, how are you? I haven't seen you in probably close to a year, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know at this point.
I know, right? Hey Jay, hi Dmitrii, hi Leah. Yeah, I'm good. How are you guys? Yeah,
Good.
I've been just busy with like conferences, podcasts, but it's good to see you all.
Totally. And then Inga, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to be back on the podcast, back talking to some of our awesome guests. On that note, we have a great guest today to be talking about core web vitals. Dmitrii, how's it going?
Yes, I'm fine. That's you guys.
Good. We're excited to have you on and to be talking about all these things that us developers should probably be caring about more than a lot of people do. So we're excited to learn from you, and hopefully our listeners find this valuable. So why don't you give yourself a little bit of an introduction? Who are you? What do you do? Why do you know about this stuff? Just things like that.
Yes, so let's short brief about me. So when we discussed about Santosh in podcast, so I just changed company. So right now I moved as head of front-end engineering in still startup about medicine in the UK. Historically, I worked more than 10 years in FinTech, so 4 years at Revolut. So I am one of creator of the main Revolut website. So why I can ask a lot about web vitals, because it was our one of an important KPI. So I deep learn a lot about this and can ask you any question if you want. Maybe just calling to Google and, hey guys, why you changed it fit to NCP?
Okay, well, it sounds like you know a lot more about it than we do. So why don't you kind of just give us a quick little, what are core web vitals? Our listeners may never have heard of that before. I'm assuming my other hosts, you guys have probably heard of core web vitals before, I would suspect. Yeah, okay. But just give us a quick, what are they? Why should we care about them?
Yes, so let's short briefly. So Google introduced XNet to 219 and officially uses their SEO metrics from 222. So it's special metrics. So it contains from free, in real life from 5 metrics. So free, LCP, so largest contentful path, it measures view lighting performance of your website. NCP, interaction to next pane, it measures your responsibilities of your site. And cumulative layout shift is checking your visual stability. Also, it's metrics TTB, so time to first byte, and LCP, yes, I remember. Yes, and before it was another metrics fit, but it was changed in P. Let's discuss it more later, why it's happened.
Cool. So thanks for the quick walkthrough. That's like the technical side of it, but why should the business stakeholders care about it? Why should the people that aren't actually building the website care about investing resources into improving core web vitals?
Yes, firstly, about business. Yes, Google especially proposed this for one reason. So to have the more better web in the world. Why they done this? After you measured improvements of web vitals, you will have more higher ranking in the search. It's the first question. Second, if you know what is about conversion, if your site loaded more speed, so as I remember from some studies, so changing of your lighting of your per site per 1 second improve your conversion of your website to 5%. So let's go to the users. Let's improve user engagement. So if you see strange when your site loaded, it's if your website working not fine, so you will also affected by these metrics. Why it's important. So improve your user engagement. It's not just short answer.
No, I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? Users are going to have a better experience. You're going to make more money. That's why the business should actually care about these things,
yes,
right?
It also affects your design. So that you should have one design branding. And another point is Google proposed to have mobile first advantage. So mobile first. So your mobile website should be works as faster as more better as you can.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. So as a developer, how do I know that I need to start looking into this? I'm usually busy coding and writing like all kinds of things. So I forget about this. Is there like any kind of signal or anything that, could give you a sign, okay, maybe stop looking at the CSS that you have been fighting for 2 weeks and start looking at web vitals now?
Yes, no, so let's short briefly. It's about instruments. Firstly, you can create your own metric system. For example, if you're working with Next.js, you will see these metrics automatically. It's right now already included in the Next.js. So it's a hard question because it contains the two. What is problem of metrics? This metrics. If you starting checking from your computer, like something, no, the first instrument is your lighthouse in your dev console or web core vitals API package. So what is problem? You will metrics your local host. If you started metrics from Google SEO console, from batch insights, or from Crooks, you will metrics from the all vault. So we have two approach, and you can do by two approach. First, check your dev tools or automatic metrics from a website API. And second, so Google SEO console, if your website is very popular.
What are some common pitfalls that developers can encounter while implementing the APIs?
So about APIs, I think that could be affect you if you have server-side rendering. So if you have created API which takes 5 or 7 minutes, create something like placeholder or LTC, so not to have white screen of the first sliding screen. It's also important. It's one of things when you can be affected by pitfalls when you work with APIs. It's my short answer. So we are two official guys.
Yeah. What are there's a couple of main metrics built into Web Core Vitals, right? There's LCP, Largest Contentful Paint, FID, First Input Delay, and CLS, Cumulative Layout Shift. Can you walk us through what each of those means? Like, what is Cumulative Layout Shift? What is Largest Contentful Paint, etc.? Just to help clarify what we're talking about here.
Yes, let's start from CLP. So CLP measures unexpected visual shifts. No, so have you ever seen on the website when you have cookies pop up? An example, so you load it full website, yes, it looks great, but you receive cookies pop up. It metrics, so for example, shifting fonts. So maybe you see them, you load it with standard font, and then they change it to what you want your designers. Why it's better? Visual stability is frustrating for users and lead to digital clicks or loss of context. Why it's important. Go more deeply. So what is affected CLS, or go to short brief of another metrics. What do you propose, Jay? More deeply, go more deeply, or let's go to another metrics.
I'm gonna defer that question over to one of my other guest hosts because I've talked a lot so far.
Yes, okay, guys. Let's continue with CLS. So, what can affect CLS? It's your banner ads. Do you remember any websites, for example, Amazon? So, Emirati Amazon, yes, have a lot of banners. So, banners. Yes, it affects your CLS. So, your dynamic content, for example, cookie banners also affect this. Images without dimensions. So when you not set at the correct width or height of your images, so you will see loaded for full screen, and then it's placed to your normal position. And void problem with fonts. So when your custom fonts cause text to flash invisible or reflow when it's original render. So maybe discuss how to fix it or not. Or let's go to another metrics.
I don't know how to fix it, but I do know. So Google for the longest time, I don't think they've done this in a long time, but back when, I don't know how long ago, maybe in the 2010s kind of thing, you would search something on Google and you'd get the results, but you'd go to click on the first result and then they'd load the sponsored ones. And then you'd end up clicking on a sponsor and you'd just give me all the results at once.
Yes, one reason why Google introduces this metric. Sorry, if you're doing something wrong for your users, please ban you in search results. Why it's done? Please improve your website.
Yeah.
You answer to your real question why it's important for users.
Totally. Yeah,
so
Google, it's so frustrating when you go to click on one element, but then as you're pressing the button on your mouse, the website finishes loading and then suddenly that element's down and then you click on an ad or something, you're oh.
Yes. So Google engineers are Jedi's, yes, so they're on the good side.
Good. I'm glad. How do we as developers integrate these Core Web Vital APIs into our applications? Is it just something that automatically gets measured? From a developer point of view, how do we leverage these systems?
It's another question about how we can metrics, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, so I sent to you how we created at Revolut. So we use it web cover Apitals API. So in every deploy, so it checked all our website and go send this data to our database. Also, you also can parse your real Web Vitals results from Google Analytics or from Google Search Console, and also create some dashboards. Yes, so in 220 we have KPI about Web Vitals at Revolut, so improve it to 100. Yes, and we have a lot of very big dashboards. So your local dashboard, for example, what is happening on your local host, and for example, what is happening around the world. About you, maybe you know that Revolut working, for example, in Australia and the United Kingdom, so the whole world. And in real life, we have different results in different locations. And also, yes, to be honest, we changed some KPIs, yes, because the vitals in Netherlands and the UK have difference in 1% and 2% to Russia. Yes, so it's also very important. So it will be also one of question about LCP. So please use CDN. So in different countries. So it's real happiness.
CDNs are wildly important for delivering your content to people across the world in a fast manner, for sure.
Okay, maybe I return back to how to fix CLS, not to have this banner. Yes.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Yes. Continue to discuss. So first, it defines sizes for your elements. So define sizes for your images or blocks with text with different fonts. So reverse space for dynamic content. So if you will have cookie banner and you are not using server-side rendering, there are some places. So optimize your font lighting. Please use link preload and font display swap, and they will fix it. But more important, yes, please use server-side rendering, yes, when you work with cookie banners, to be honest. One short answer.
Great. I feel like we don't have enough time for a really long answer with all this stuff. I suspect that you can get pretty deep into optimizing and figuring out and all that kind of stuff. So we just want to give our listeners like a set of tools, basic understanding of how to do this so they can at least start looking into it, right? We don't need to have all the answers today.
Can you also talk a little bit about, some common pitfalls like developers encounter when they implementing the API?
It's not API, so I may say to you my issues, what is created, so which affects ICP. So maybe first, if you're using React, is using Next.js for static website, so please using Castro. Yes, if you're using creating static website is one of point for which I want to point. Yes, Astro is the best variant for static website right now. Another variant, yes, to think more deeply. So when you create any banners, for example, cookie banners, think about this. I already said it, this was my pain. So because I work a lot of GDPR banners. Another thing, so please use server-side rendering when it's needed. Another pitfalls, which are important, and I remember. So it's about internationalization. So also please use, you also understand that it will be some pitfalls in different sizes. So also please use server side if you can. So I also team of React, so right now introducing streaming API, especially for this.
Okay, so once developers actually detect poor scores, what strategies do you recommend to improving them?
Firstly, what you can do. So please open your Lighthouse and check what is happening with your computers. Please, one also thing, yes, open in incognito mode because your local DevTools also checking your extensions. It's one also important point. So open your Lighthouse, create 2 reports for desktop and for mobile, and see what is happening. So Google works fine, yes, in Emirates, so it's okay. Okay, so Google 100, yes. Let's imagine. So if you have problems with cognitive shift, so it measures to you. In your report, it will write in which HTML elements is problem. Let's go more deeply and dive to this element in your code. If you have problem with LCP, so it also will say to you, also yes, Google right now send to you, say to me, hey, we are using some outdated functions, so please use modern JavaScript. Also yes, what is from Google report. And so just see in your report in real life, so Lighthouse have a good recommendations list, so it's already created to your optimization list. It's the same, so if you want to check what is happening with real internet users around the world, so please open a patient site, so it will say to you the same information like us, but for all people, what you say.
Okay, we have Santosh asking a question here. If you could change one more thing about how the web measures user experience, what would be? So like in addition to what's currently there, what's one thing you would add that would make it so that there's a better user experience that us developers could measure?
Yes, it's a great question. So let's more deeply. So to be honest, I will return back to first iteration delay. So one short story. So why Google before used first iteration delay, then it changes to NCP. So NCP measures so not the first light, it measures any types of lighting, so any steps of lighting. First iteration dives measures your first light. To be honest, I will return it back. So it might shortly questions, yes. And to be honest, so I will also make first byte to TTP, so measure your speed connections. So if you know, so there is some countries, for example, you're using VPN, so TCP, so you will long waiting for DNS service on ATC or Cloudflare, what is happening sometimes, yes. Also please add to this, yes, and also propose to use more better services.
Right. Yeah. I mean, makes sense, right? Better services, better experience.
Yes,
right?
of course.
For developers that have started to investigate Core Web Vitals, right? They maybe they're listening to this podcast and they just learned about them. They're like, oh man, this sounds great. This is these are exactly the kind of metrics that I need to be able to optimize their website. What would you suggest is the one small thing that they could change that would have an impact tomorrow? Right? It doesn't require no engineering effort, something that they can just go and do and fix that maybe they've been doing wrong this whole time.
Yes, it's a good question. I can just say to you short answer, yes. If you're using PNG images or JPEG, please use WebP images. And will improve your LCP, so sometimes in 5 times when I optimize it to one of my friend websites of this.
Right. Yeah, WebP, so if anybody listening isn't sure what that is, WebP is a format. I believe it was built specifically for the web, right? That was what it was originally designed for. Yeah, so instead of JPEG and PNG, it's a format that browsers know how to load more optimally based on what's going to be in the viewport and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
so that's how WebP works. Yeah.
Yes, no, so I think so to before, please check your analytics. Maybe you have a lot of users which still uses iPhone 8. You understand? Yes,
true. Yeah.
So they added full support for Safari only 3 years ago, 222.
Yeah. So they're definitely not supported across all browsers yet, right? They're supported across all evergreen browsers at this point.
Yes.
Sure,
No,
right?
so
yeah. Probably the new baseline standard that's been defined, the baseline will support WebP at this point, I would assume.
Yes.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. But that's a very good point. I know there's some libraries out there that'll conditionally load, maybe you have an image, what's it called now? What are those image services that'll dynamically resize your images and stuff like that? Those will support reading effectively the user agent, be this user agent supports WebP, so I'm going to give you a WebP versus this one doesn't, so I'm going to give you a PNG. Kind of
yes,
thing.
Vercel can do this. Yes, no, for example, with my experience, yes, Next.js and Vercel can do this automatically. But you need to add this function to get this function on in your config.
Yeah, and it only matters if you have users using old devices too, right? For example, at Trellis, my company, we have a weird number of users that are on older devices. Not quite Internet Explorer old, but definitely old enough that sometimes modern features don't work. So we usually need to extend back from the baseline a little bit, unfortunately, right? But I would assume that any website that's dedicated to a developer tool is probably everyone's gonna be on the most up-to-date version most of the time, right? Us devs are pretty good at updating our computers and our browsers, right? And our devices. Unless anybody has any other questions, I'm going to wrap it up with some recommendations from Dmitrii. Either of you guys have any other questions before we get some recommended reading and stuff like that from Dmitrii?
Yeah, I think I'm good too. I would be interested to hear about that. Maybe a similar question, right, would be what kind of strategy would you recommend developers to use when they're just jumping into Core Web Vitals, right? I can imagine can be sometimes a little bit overwhelming for somebody that is not coming from that area, right? And they're purely always developing and they're not really thinking about that.
To be honest, yes, the most simple is just open your network tab. So just open your DevTools. It's more easier variant. And additionally, it's one of the reasons why historically page site was moved to Dev Console, especially for this. Please do this. You can do this in 2 clicks. to be honest. It's one of reasons, yes. If you want more hard analytics, yes, of course, you can use their own packages in NPM, so Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and etc. But more easier way, yes, just 2 clicks. No, to be honest, I can do it right now. 1 click and 2 click, yes. I have the console in our recorded platform.
Yeah, so essentially just be more vigilant on, while you're developing in your Chrome developer tools or any other
yes.
Browser you're using to make sure that you're always, looking at those metrics.
Yes, just advice sometimes just open or checking it or just check what is happening in your Google Search Console, yes, because also they can send to you the full report, hey man, you got some problem on this page, please improve. So also the most reason.
Awesome. Thanks, Dmitrii. Okay, so wrapping it up, recommendations for our listeners. Recommended reading, resources, tools. What stuff should our listeners go look at after they've done listening to this?
Yes.
episode?
Okay. No. So for in real life, official Google documentation. Yes, about it. It's written more great, more done. I forgot there is a lot of articles on HackerNoon. Yes, so I can send to you. I also will propose one of my article. Yes, sorry, it's right now written in Russian in Docker Guide. It's special documentation special documentation for developers, but it's written in Russian language. So I will rewrite it in HackerNoon maybe in 2-3 weeks. So it's also first, yes, please use Google documentation. It's one of great place. Another one. Yes, we can also continue, yes, if you want. So Yandex also has our own web vitals API, to be honest, the same. So we also can continue, discuss. And Bing also has.
Totally. So, and then I know you mentioned this quickly earlier, but for anyone listening, the Lighthouse tool that's built into Chrome, that is great for measuring all these different web vitals, among many other things too. It has all kinds of other stats and metrics and suggestions for doing this and not doing that and all that kind of stuff in it. So that's a really great tool for optimizing your websites for sure. Yeah, great. Dmitrii, anything you want to add about Core Web Vitals before we wrap up here?
Yes, so maybe also, yes, if you're using Next.js, please also, yes, check what their documentation doc for more better optimizing. So please use Next font, Next images. Yes, it will also help you.
Awesome. Great. Well, Dmitrii, thank you for coming on the show and talking about Core Web Vitals today. I'm sure our listeners are going to love this, and it's not something that gets talked about enough, I feel like. So I'm excited for more websites to have a better user experience.
More better website. Yes, do not have noisy banners.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Well, for listening. I guess you weren't here live, so thanks for listening to the episode. Appreciate it. Stay tuned for our next one, and I don't know who the guest is, so you'll have to wait and find out who that is. But thanks everyone. Thanks Dmitrii. Thank you to my host, and signing off. Goodbye.